So we are starting a great week, week 14. Remember that time flies, and never before was that so true. Incredible, but we are already in week 14. And of course, my reminders, as usual, that you keep your tasks. I have seen task 7, 3 students, Krishna, Vanessa, and Catalina. I will be sending you feedback this afternoon. And therefore, you are completing, you're keeping your Vitacora upgraded. That is the idea of reminding you every week, please be careful. You need to adapt to your Vitacora every week so that things don't explode in 2 more weeks when we have to finish the Vitacora. And talking about evaluations, here we are writing. So, so the Vitacora, which is this ongoing product, yes, that you need to adapt to every day, every week. The participation in the forum, again, participation in the forum is required. We will be 1 more week because we will give feedback to the micro teaching, and that will be the last forum. Therefore, I need you to catch up with the forums that were due before, to have your best. This is also an average grade, to have your best grade in forum participation. Now we're working towards the activity plan, which is due next week. So we will work today. We will work this week for feedback so that it can be finished next week. And then you have the time to prepare your micro teaching, which will be live. So in a class, we meet and you do all your micro teachings in pairs, and you will receive a form for classmates to give feedback. Entonces van a tener 2 checklists de feedback, uno del profesor y otro de los compañeros. And that will be the last forum, by the way. So I was thinking about this reorganization. So remember, next week, the activity plan has to be finished. So I need you to work today very hard during the week as well to receive feedback. Remember, next week, we also have the winter games. So we will be polishing the activities. We will meet with pairs just to polish that. Then the Vitacora will be out. Then we have a holiday. So as you see, we don't have many classes. So this next class, the activity plan finished. I will give feedback and we will work on in pairs to polish the winter games activities. And you prepare your Vitacora for 28. We have a holiday, we don't have classes, but you will be uploading your Vitacora. The micro teaching will be in July, last class, our last class. And we will have the micro teaching, the final farewell, we say goodbye, we're gonna have nice holidays. And you will have also, you will give feedback to your classmates. And therefore, that feedback will be uploaded to the forum. That will be the last forum. Finally, every person who wants to upgrade their grades, people who have not got the grades, will have the opportunity for the final optional test on the week of the 12th. Okay, so that day we will meet for a final test, optional test only. The rest will already be just not meeting. You will already have your grades, hopefully. Or that I have that week, and we have 1 more week to upgrade, to upload the grades. So what we are talking about, the Vitacora has 7 tasks plus this activity plan. that we will work together, you will work in groups towards accomplishing. So this is what you need to keep in mind when finishing the Bitácora. Many of you already have this until week 9, around week 9, because you already presented that section of the Bitácora. So you are all right with that. And plus you have the rest of activities to be completed. Well, the forum, I have been repeating since the beginning, the forum, you have the examples for forum participation. So everything is there, has been explained. So it's up to you to sit down and participate in the forum. Comment to your classmates. That is something, you already have all the materials to do this. So it's just your decision to sit down and do it. It will be due in July. So you have one more week to finish the participation, because we will be giving feedback to the micro-teaching sessions from classmates. And now activity planning. Following this planning, this outline that I uploaded last week, you already have it. You will be working in pairs today. We will do some, we will be watching some presentations, some videos, so that we discuss again about the development of skills with beginners, so that you can have new ideas for your activity plan. So we will try to sort that out today, so that you upload your activity plan, you have feedback, and it can be ready for next class. Remember that you have this is one of the elements for your evaluation. Yes, Catalina.
In our activity plan, we can choose another. No. How can I say cualquier?
Any
topic.
Any topic?
Or no?
Yes, it's any topic. Yes. So a grade in elementary education. Remember, you're working with beginners. Yes, beginner learners. Then you outline your activity, language and content objective. It can be any of the content objectives that we have been working with: colors, members of family, animals. And what else? We will share the topics with the with materials from the Ministry of Education. So do not worry about the topic. Okay, and now you will be presenting your activity. Krishna, which group is ready to present your activity? Any of the groups?
Us?
Krishna, okay.
Yes. Okay. Wait a second. Lo siento, pero me dio risa el
Okay.
Ando con los nervios de punta, perdón.
Thank you. Yeah. Hello, dear teacher and classmate. I'm Giselle Bravo, and with my partner Krishna Fierro, we are going to present about the animal and their classification. The object, me cuesta esa palabra. Objective is identify and recognize the types of animal according to their displacement.
Okay, this is an English activity for the students of third grade, with focus on the subject of natural science. The techniques are listen and repeat, and the description of the activity is listen and repeat, then choose the correct answer and drag it to its box.
Okay. Well, here we say allow the names of the animal and the student repeat. Animal or insect that fly. Where is the eagle? Repeat. Eagle. Here. Drag it into the correct box. Next. What is the butterfly? Repeat. Butterfly. Here. Drag it to the correct box. Excellent. What is the bird? Repeat. Bird. Here. Drag it to the correct box.
Yes. You can have numbers as well.
Great.
Remember when you have words and numbers, remember that when you have words and numbers, so the children can, oh, it's one, and they can join words and numbers. Remember, teacher Mark has something similar to that. Yeah, excellent. Oh, so beautiful.
Animals that run. What is the bear? Here. Drag it to the correct box. Where is the dog? Here. Drag it to the correct box. Where is the tiger? Here. Drag it to the correct box.
We're done.
Well done.
Well done. Yeah.
We're
So
done.
if you have numbers, then it will be easier to make this matching. Oh, great. I love this.
Animals that swim. What is the shark? Repeat. Shark. Here. Drag it to the correct box.
Where is the whale? Here. Drag it to the correct box. Where is the fish? Here. Drag it to the correct box. And great job.
Good job.
That is all.
Okay, great, great. Yes,
Thank you.
it's great. So yes, it can be perfectly done. Only we will need the first step. At the first step, we will need the introduction of the animals. So first of all, you introduce the animals one by one and make them repeat. And then each of the slides with numbers. So the students can check, whale 1, fish 2. But the topic is great, yes. And there is something, there is a document that I was explaining that the ministry shared with schools, and it is called the la priorización de los objetivos, and there you can also find the topics for the different grades. So it will be added to your materials. Do not worry. Yes, excellent. All right. So now, any other group would like to share? Phoebe, Paola. Well, okay. Paola, you can share. Let me check. Paola. Daphne. Daphne va a compartir. All right. So Daphne, you. Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning, teacher. My name is Paola Jorquera and my classmate is Daphne Celis. Today, we will present an activity called Let's Learn the Parts of the Body.
So we have one objective of this class, and this is to make the students identify correctly the parts of the
Mhm. Yeah. We can maybe. Oh, we cannot hear you, Paola. Are you there?
Yes. Sí.
Okay.
In the techniques of the class, we wanted to use the repetition of words through and song. Also, the development of writing activities such as sentence completion to include the different type of students and their abilities.
body in second language. Well, we have the first activity, and this is to be developed. The student should see the body parts in the picture and recognize them of their body. Then the teacher reads them while pointing them out. They repeat. Right? This is the body parts. For example, head, eyes, ears, mouth, and nose.
Play to the video, Daphne, please. In this part, these students listen to the song named Head, Shoulder, Knees, and Toes.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Can you share again?
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, toes.
Toes. Mhm.
which talks about the parts of the body that they
Mhm.
have already learned
Learn. Mhm.
the previous activity. They should dance to it following the instruction of the song. For example,
Mhm.
when the song says head, they point to their head.
Mhm.
This song is very fun for the children. It has an easy rhythm to learn so learning is very fun and easy to achieve.
Yes, exactly. And they participate with their movements, remember, and theories say in this way they learn better. Yes, by repeating, by making the movements, and in this case, pointing to the different parts of the body, it's easier for them to remember the vocabulary later. Okay, great, girls.
Yes.
I have it in another video, so we will. You will also have opportunity to watch it in the games. Yeah, when you work in groups. Okay.
Well,
Okay, and these are the activities. Mhm.
yes. And this activity is a workshop. Here they must put into practice what they have learned in the previous activity and complete the names of the body parts with the missing letters.
Mhm. Yes, the names.
Here,
Okay, great.
here.
I love it.
Second grade, the word that correspond to the part bodies. Below are all reading so that they can be explained in the case of question. This in order for students to correctly recognize the parts of the human body in a second language.
Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Yeah, excellent. Great, girls. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Thank you. So with a few adaptations, this can be done. And plus, this has a plus that really involves the children doing activities. So the similar to what Catalina and Vanessa explained last week, children will be occupied doing things, bringing things, or and therefore that will make them more participative and develop their kinesthetic abilities. Yes, excellent, Catalina. Thank you. Yes, exactly. Remember that experts say that by means of total physical response, which is a methodology within which we find activities like tapping or showing or pointing to different parts of the body, taps into three different ways of learning. Remember that last semester we read about the styles of learning. And therefore, yes, exactly. Paola says that they want to respond to diversity of students. That is why we mix ways of learning through association, music, video. Yes, completing sentence and writing. Yes, exactly. Therefore, we saw this last semester when we talked about the different learning styles. Remember that some students are kinesthetic. Therefore, you have the students that are all the time standing up. They can never be sitting down, and they need to do things. Then you have visual learners, and with this activity, you also show them the video, yes, and they can repeat the pointing to the parts of the body, and auditory learners, those that learn by listening. And the song and the video really help in those aspects. So great, girls, you have been working, and that really yes, excellent, gives an excellent segue of what we will be doing very soon. Okay, let me check.
Teacher, with Javiera,
Yeah, Phoebe, do you want to present next week or do you want to present today?
right now we do something, but um, how is it? We didn't make a PPT.
Okay, okay,
We
but
we
you can
complete,
present next week. Yes?
but we complete part of the activity plan.
All right, all right. We will talk about that in a minute. Yes, that's excellent. So excellent. But the activity you can present next week, Phoebe. That's okay. Prepare it and we will be just polishing and doing corrections next week. Okay, and the activity plan, that can be any of these activities or any others that you want. As Catalina would say, any activity will be planned for next week and then done in micro teaching. Yes, in a session that we will meet together to share the activities as we're doing now and participating in the activities. So now we will do different things. On the one hand, we will revise the language learning objective writing, which is something we introduced last class, but we need practice with. Then you will plan your activity, but before that, we will do a revision, a presentation, a short presentation. You will read something short about total physical response, which is what the girls have just presented. Therefore, it is, as I said, a perfect segue of what we were going to do today, also known as TPR. Okay, so on the basis of what we revise here, on the one hand, the objectives, this total physical response, you will be able to work on your activity planning, hopefully, yes? By the end of the class, you will have your ideas. Phoebe already has something, but they can probably rewrite it, change it, adjust it. Yes, so you all will have a possibility to have the activity plan today, this afternoon, and upload it for revision. Okay, so it is ready for next week. Okay, working together, pairs working together. Sorry, I do not know anything from Romina and Laura. Please, if you are so kind to let them know. I wrote to them last Monday. I can't write today, but I need them to respond, to participate in some way, because I need to know what is going on with their module. Yes, with the activities in the module for that. Okay, so we will repeat something we started working with last class, that was the writing of objectives. And now that you have been planning your activities, you know that you need to focus on the objectives. And there are some teachers online explaining, for example, about TPR and explaining this. So you teach your objectives. So what is it that you want to teach? And therefore you focus on them, those objectives. But we need to remember, and this forever, yes, next semester when we work with another module on theory, and next year when you do your English practicum, you need to remember the kind of verbs that we use in the objectives. They need to be observable. Yes, so they need to they need to refer to observable behavior. That means actions that we can see performed. Yes, something that they will be able to do. And therefore, we need action verbs. Yes, so they can identify, repeat. For example, in the case of Krishna and Davne, they were making the children repeat. Yes, so they also recognize or identify. Yes, you can also depending on the different language proficiency level of students, you can make them present something, describe, explain, demonstrate, or analyze. And going up in a ladder of following Bloom's taxonomy, we can use more and more verbs that imply actions that really tap into higher order thinking, critical thinking actions. On the other hand, we cannot use words that refer to behavior that we cannot observe. Remember that we have verbs referring to thinking, like think, yes, understand, learn, appreciate, enjoy, perceive, because those verbs do not imply an action I can observe. Therefore, these verbs are not allowed. Therefore, we have them in red. Yes, no, don't use them. And to be able to help you more, we have the English language lessons or activities objectives and a formula. Whenever you apply this formula, you will be on the right side, let us say. Easier to write and easier to recognize your objectives. So you will have the function, the verb, yes, the action verb, describe, identify, recognize, repeat, read, write. Then we will have a content, members of the family, parts of the body, colors, animals, and the English content, yes? Whether it is lexicon, vocabulary, whether they will be learning vocabulary, specific vocabulary, or any grammar pattern. Whether they are repeating a verb tense, routines, for example, past actions, or whatever it is that is referred to learning language. Because mostly what we will find are the contents and also the prioritization of all the documents by the ministry. We have general learning objectives that refer to learning content, but we need to add a specific element of learning the language, of learning English, that is missing in them. Okay, so we will have, for example, this is another example, the states of water. For those doing science, whenever you do science, using the present simple, yes, or present members of your family by using vocabulary words related to family members, orally and writing, because you can also add here the skills. So we have functions, yes, a behavior, so a verb that indicates a behavior that can be observed, a content, an element of English that they are learning, whether it is vocabulary or grammar pattern. And you can use also the skills, whether they will be writing, reading, speaking, or listening. That can also be added at the end. Therefore, last week we had the example of Catalina and Vanessa and their activity. That was like identify colors by recognizing specific vocabulary in English by means of videos and songs. So they were only going to recognize the colors and bring something in reference to that color, yes, and participate, for example, in the activity. If it is in the winter games, it would be just by bringing something of that color and showing it to the teachers and earning a point, for example. Okay, now Krishna and Daphne, which do you think is the objective for your, oh, you have it, I think, if you already have it. Think of the verbs we have here in green. That means, okay, good, you can use these verbs in green. Which do you think is in this case is animals, yes? The content. Okay, let me copy the structure, the formula. Meaningful colors. Okay. Girls, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Are we?
Thinking? Okay,
We are
so
here, yes.
yes, exactly. Okay, Krishna, which do you think is the main objective? Or you already have it? You can say, and we can. So it was about animals. Mhm. Just, birds, animals. Okay, let us say animals that fly, run, and swim. Okay, this is the content. What are we doing with it? Here, maybe we need another one. That is something we do a lot. Could it be repeat? Well, first of all, you recognize, yes. Identify, yes. Excellent, Krishna. Identify is something first, then you make them repeat. Repeat vocabulary. Oh, wait a minute. Recognize, yes, identify, recognize, and repeat. Okay. So first of all, they recognize and then they repeat. So identify. Repeat. Vocabulary. Oh. Oh. Repeat nouns. Repeat nouns refer to animals that fly, run, and swim. Those are the names of animals, yes. So they repeat whale, fish, shark. By using the last part, what will they use? Okay, by using specific. What do they use, girls? Specific? They don't use a special pattern, verb pattern, for example, grammatical pattern. But they use what? Specific? You have the word here. Can you hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so what do we have? Specific? Vocabulary?
Like, yes.
In English. Yes, exactly. All right. So that's the way in which you will organize the objectives you need for your activities as well. So let us do let's try to practice so then you can have it clearer and easier. Okay, Paola. Which do you think is your any? Girls, can you hear me? Okay, sharing the screen. Okay, I am sharing the screen now. Okay, in the case of Paola, the content was parts of the body, yes? Parts of the body. All right. So which is the first verb here for the objective? Hmm?
Like the same or not repeat.
Repeat. So we have identify, recognize, repeat. But children probably, what are they doing? They're identifying and recognizing, but they are doing something else that is not verbal. They're not
Could be learn.
No, because learn is here. Yeah,
Ah,
we cannot observe, but there is something that it is written here and it's not verbal, and it's something you can do, you can observe. It's one of these verbs. Come on.
Demonstrate.
Excellent, Vanessa. We're waking up. Come on, come on. We're going to bring some tea in the break. Okay, demonstrate. This is done a lot with total physical response, demonstrate knowledge. And you don't even need to repeat. So as you see, there are different kinds of activities that can be done with beginner learners. They can repeat a word. Yes, that's okay. They can just identify and they can demonstrate. Yes, demonstrate. Demonstrate or point out parts of the body, demonstrate knowledge about parts of the body by, what do? They don't speak, which is oh, sorry. So they recognize, and what do they do? Which is the skill they are practicing here? So recognize is okay.
listening.
Listening, excellent. By recognizing specific vocabulary in English, by listening to content or instructions. Instructions, we will see, we have instructions and content. So you listen to content that is being taught to you or by instructions that are given to you, and you can demonstrate understanding by not speaking. Yes, simply by demonstrating your understanding, by pointing out, by doing something, but you don't necessarily have to respond with words, respond with something linguistic. Yes, have a linguistic response. Some of these verbs represent something linguistic. Yes, repeat, present, describe, explain, but others are done just without using language necessarily. So you have identify, demonstrate. Okay, show, for example, also. We will see some more of these verbs. Okay, so now we will go to have some tea, some coffee, because we need to wake up. And we will dedicate to the revision, the revision of the planning. But first of all, I need to introduce you to some of the content that we were going to do today. And just this general revision, a summary of techniques for making input comprehensible to beginners. And this was the topic we were dealing with last week's. Remember that a teacher has to act in special ways so as to make input comprehensible. And we saw Dr. Krashen, for example, drawing a simple figure to German. Do you remember that part of the video in which he taught German by drawing the head, the eyes, the ears? So very similar to head and shoulders, knees and toes, but in German. And not by moving, but by showing movement, but by drawing. So you have a list here. Nevertheless, it's not exhaustive. We can add some more techniques here. For example, one of them is by using gesture and movement. Yes, as we were seeing in total physical response, the example shown by Paola and Daphne. So this is not exhaustive. We can find some more. In case we find more, we will add them here. Yes. Any question? Yes. Okay, Catalina.
Tenemos que como, o sea, no actuar, sino que ser como profesora, así como, good
Yep.
morning, teacher, pero obviamente con ustedes.
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
ya. Mhm.
Yes, yes. So the final evaluation, yes, the micro teaching will be, yes, teaching. Remember, you will practice also with the kids in the winter games. It will be great. So that's the first time you will be teachers with real kids. Hopefully we will get them to enroll. Yes. Okay. So first of all, we will watch a video that I need to add here. But first of all, you will need to have some break, bring some coffee, wake up, and we will come back in less than 10 minutes to continue. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Okay, so I will talk to you in 5 minutes, see if you're ready. So go to the bathroom and bring some coffee, some tea, because we need to wake up. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so we will see what TPR is. So pay attention to what TPR is and the uses in the classroom, explained by teacher Michael from Canada. Okay.
This is my online classroom. This is where I teach all of my classes. And before we get into any examples of using TPR in the classroom, why don't we begin this video by defining what TPR even is. TPR stands for Total Physical Response. The idea behind it is to get students physically involved with the lesson and the language that they're learning. Generally speaking, TPR comes in two forms: instructional TPR and educational TPR. Let's talk about the difference between the two and also their function in the classroom. Instructional TPR are the physical movements that give instruction to the students. As an example, if I were to ask one of my students to, let's say, circle the pig, if there's a picture of a pig on the screen, I might say, circle the pig, or circle the pig. The physical response that we're trying to get out of the student isn't always the same as what the teacher is doing. So in this example, if I'm saying circle, I don't necessarily want the student to sit there and go like this with their hand, right? I want them to take their hand, put it on their mouse or their pad or whatever, and actually draw a circle. And even though they're not doing the exact same movement that I'm doing, we're still getting a physical response from the student. And that's a very important part of TPR, the response. If the students aren't responding, it's just a bunch of TP. Ew. Some other forms of instructional TPR that we use are movements like this, okay, cupping your ear, letting the student know that you are listening to them and waiting for a response, or pointing to your mouth. Pig, giving the instruction that you would like them to speak, to say something. Pig. We really want to focus on the response. Now let's talk about educational TPR. Educational TPR are the types of physical movements that help to animate and explain some of the new words and concepts that you're talking about. Monkey. Monkey. In terms of eliciting a response from the student, I often use the approach of see it, do it. Let the students see it, which means that me or you as the teacher, we're going to model for the student. Let them see it. Monkey. Ooh, 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 ah, 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 ah. And then do it. So the way that I communicate that, the instructional TPR that I use is I say to the student, first me, then you. Monkey. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And if the student jumps in right away and starts trying to respond, I might say, first, me, then you. That's usually fairly effective in getting the student to know, like, okay, I'm gonna see it first, then I'm gonna do it. That's the approach. So of course you can use educational TPR to animate things like pig, monkey, rain, all types of different things like that. But I find that educational TPR is the most effective when you're talking about action words, verbs, sit down, stand up, run, throw, yeah. All of these types of physical movements, when associated with the word, not only make your classes more interesting, but they are really helping the student to understand the meaning of all of these different words. All of these things are going to be so effective and really just help liven up your classroom a little bit. I'm someone who has a history as a theater performer. I've trained in circus arts and I've done a lot of clowning. And the reason that I bring that up is because clowns are masters of non-verbal communication. In this exercise, I'm going to do a series of 4 movements. I want you to think to yourself, what am I trying to communicate? Okay? Here we go. I am tired. I am sleeping. Of course, the language can vary depending on the level of your student. It could be I sleep, I am sleeping, I am going to sleep, I am going to bed. The language that you're using depends on the level of your student, but the function, the fundamental point that I'm trying to make is that if you can communicate something with no words, when you start layering the words on top of it, all of a sudden, everything becomes a lot more clear because the student already knows what you're trying to say, right? So that is my little clowning tip for the day. I hope you find...
Okay, could you follow?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, okay, yes. And Phoebe says this way you are, we are right now. Yes, sleeping. Yes, I know. But this is something you have been using since last year, or trying to not so, being not so easy by means of virtual education. But this was done a lot with students in first year in our program when they were in face-to-face classes. So lots of total physical response to get them, on the one hand, receive instructions in English. That's something very important to notice. And on the other hand, learn new vocabulary. So remember, Teacher Michael says there are 2 uses. One is instructional, just to give instructions, and the other one is educational, to teach vocabulary or specific content. Okay, so in your groups, yes, so here we have the slides for this. I will explain to you, and we will be working step by step in our groups, because remember, we need to have the activity. Yes, that is over here. I'm going to change the order, but you have them here. You need the activity at the least started. Those that already started can revise, yes, and see whether that is done to your liking, to the expectations. Yes, and you will start here. Yes, again, watching the video, or that only those minutes, between minute 0:25, I think it is, 0:25 and 5:35. I think he explains the most important things. Yes. So 26 to 5:35. Yes, it's a little bit long, but he gives lots of examples. Plus, he says he has been training as a clown, and of course, I'm very envious as an actor. Remember that teachers need to be a little bit actors as well. Yeah, above all when working with very little children. Okay, what will you do? Then you will watch the demonstration. So these are activities. So here is head and shoulders, knees and toes again, and walking. Yes, so 2 videos in which you see again in foreign language demonstration, the total physical response application. Finally, you have 2 readings. 2 readings. But after you finish watching and reading, we will meet again. Yes, so we will take. So here is yes, the first part is a blog. It's a short blog, again with the application how to use TPR, and the second is only a section of the blog that says 5 total physical response activities that every teacher should know. It's not the whole blog. It's only that section. Yes. And when we meet again, you will think of this. Brainstorm ideas about TPR and activities that can be done to develop the skills and the language and the English language. Remember, you're teaching English, but you're not always having the same kind of activity. So you might have people responding orally. That's one option. The other option will be just something that it means acting out, like the case of just having movement, like the case of head and shoulders, knees and toes. So you have a response that is by means of acting something, not saying something. So it's listening and acting. You can have a reaction that is drawing. So you can say something. So another activity can be to say something and let students draw. Yes, so respond by drawing, not answering or not moving, yeah, or by creating something. Remember that when we have instructional TPR, a lot of instructions given in schools also end up by having students creating something, but not answering orally, not acting out, not drawing, but creating. So you have an ample way of devising activities and even games for your students to work with English, to receive instructions in English, know some content in English, and respond in different ways so as to show understanding, but it's not necessarily speaking. Okay, so do you follow? Okay, girls, is that clear? Okay. So now you will work in groups and we will be here in 20 minutes. Let us say, tell me where you are, if you have decided anything. Phoebe, you will be with, okay, Javiera. Phoebe and Javiera, you are together. Krishna, Krishna, you will need to
Gigi.
but she is not. Ask her to connect, please. So Catalina, Vanessa, Paola, and Krishna. Paola and Krishna, and tell your classmates to come back and I will add them to the group, okay? So do you have all the links? Do you have the materials you need? Okay, girls, so to round up again, your activity plan consists of several sections. So here you decide on the elementary school level. Remember, you have the prioritization document. There you can see grade by grade, which are the some objectives that are prioritized, general outcomes, and also topics to be dealt with in different grades. Yes, so you can take ideas from there. Okay, the name of the activity, and here you go back. So this is like putting together everything we have done in the semester. So you go back to language teaching approach. Remember, you read and you summarized about active learning, task-based and CLIL approach, and with the aspects that were related to this, to the approach. So remember, the teacher had a role, the student had a role. Then here, use of English is also another aspect that we saw in the approach. So how is language used? Remember, language is used to communicate, to teach, to give instructions. Remember that we're working with beginners, so a lot of the language is used to give instructions, to teach basic vocabulary. So mainly we will focus on those uses of language. Then how is input made comprehensible? Remember, we saw an example by Dr. Krashen when he taught German and devised the way in which to show by means of pictures, teach a vocabulary he was trying to teach. So how do you make input comprehensible? By means of pictures, drawings, posters, actions. You make the input comprehensible by means of a video, realia you bring to the classroom. So you have, or to the activity, even if it is in a virtual classroom. So everything is valuable here to make input comprehensible. Remember that if you just speak, then students are not going to follow you. Here, the language environment. So remember, you create an environment. Remember the video we have just seen by Professor Michael. So he creates an environment with posters, maps, but also the environment for language is created with visuals, with anchor charts. Remember the 12 steps, but also with by speaking in English all the time, by giving instructions in English, making yourself understood by the students, by using English, by using the sounds, songs, all the input you use for students in English, you also create this environment for students in English. And the way you respond to students' responses. So if students do the head and shoulders, knees and toes correctly, you encourage them by saying very well done, excellent, keep going. And so also by using your language constantly, you're also creating this environment for English learning. And then how are you going to understand this idea of inclusion? You're going to include all of the students with different learning abilities. We saw this in total physical response. Students with different learning styles can participate very well in total physical response because they have an option to be in kinesthetically active or visually active or auditorily active. Yes, so in there, and how are colleagues, pairs working together going to collaborate? Here, the language objective, I repeat again, we have done examples together about this. We have written those examples. You have today and last week's examples, so check again, a verb of action, content, and some kind of element in English, whether it is vocabulary or structures. Then how we're going to open a word map. Yes, it can be a short activity, get students moving or doing something, present some vocabulary, how you're going to stimulate that new vocabulary, create something something challenging for them, present them a challenge to be accomplished by the end of the by the end of the activity. For example, thinking of the family tree. Okay, so this is a challenge. We're going to create a family tree, and you need to present that motivational element. The instructions are very important. Remember, we saw Teacher Michael, above all, with beginners and TPR, you need to be very clear how to you give instructions by using the whole bodies, yes, and clear words for students to follow, yes, and to follow you and to understand what you're saying, replicate with their actions, yes, and learn something moreover, yes. So you have both stages there. And how you end the activity. Yes, you end up the activity by putting something together. It can be the repetition of words or just the showing of objects, materials, drawings, creating this anchor chart together with the drawings of the different family trees, just using that example. Yes, but it can be any end of activity. Remember also when we read the books last semester, you also have something to finish that activity. Yes, bring realia in the case of the seed of the carrot seed. That is also a good example to think of an ending of an activity that brings together everything you want to teach the students. Yes, vocabulary, actions, yes, realia or pictures or whatever it is. Yes, you decide. Here, opportunities for interaction. Remember that at very beginner level, students interact a lot with the teacher, more than student, but it can also be possible, yes, to interact with other students, show their product, yes, show their creation, show their family tree, for example. It depends. Yes, you decide on that. It depends on your activity. The materials, remember everything you're using, pictures, sounds, videos, songs, worksheets, realia elements, or whatever. Everything, it has to be mentioned here. Then, how do you understand the level according to the language level of your students, their interests? Remember that if they're very beginners, early beginners, they need a lot of input that is visual, auditory. They need to work with others. Also, that's another characteristics. You have the chart with all the characteristics according to language level. They can respond with one.
Teacher, here I have a question.
Yes. Question.
With Javi, we selected a video where in the video there are puppets, and someone asked him in Spanish how is family members in English, and the other teach him. Is that okay? We use Spanish video.
Okay, well, with very early beginners, yes, one of the strategies is to use a mother tongue. Yes, and here
So
it could be very early beginners. Yes, and what is done, for example, in the United States is pair students that speak the same mother tongue. Yes, one knows a little bit more of English and the other less, so they can. But here in South America, it is a lot done by means of Spanish. Yes, with supporting very early beginners, okay? Yes. Okay, you can use it as an element to support.
Teacher,
Yes, okay.
so in the micro teaching, can we do something like ask him in Spanish and teach them English? I don't know if you understand.
So give one introduction in Spanish and then repeat in English, like echoing. You echo in English. Yes, whatever support you give in Spanish, you echo in English. Yes, to focus, focusing on English. Yes. Yes, that happens with very early beginners, and this is done all over the world. It's not only here, but also even in English-speaking countries. Yes. And finally, how long it will take. So you think of the whole activity, but then of course in the micro teaching, as we explained, it's going to be only one snapshot of the whole activity. But you can mention here the whole activity is going to last 40 minutes, 30 minutes. And then when you do the micro teaching, you just choose one section. Yes, otherwise it would be very long. Okay, and how is the mechanics? And you know how to do this by intuitively, because you divide the activity in both partners, and so you know how to do this. But you know how to do it, but you need to write it down. Yes, so partners will take turns to co-teach, and this is co-teaching. You teach together the whole activity, and you guide the activity together. And then you have your reflections. Remember, this goes in the Bitácora. And to finalize, I want to remind you that next class is almost our last class, so we really need to take advantage of it. Finish your planning. I will create another task on week 14, yes, so that I can revise and give you feedback during this week, because next week it's due, okay? And remember, you have pending. You have things pending. You have your tasks pending, yes? Task 5, task 6, task 7, mainly those that already finished the first part of the Bitácora. If you haven't finished the first part, then you need to finish. And the forum, yes? So catch up with forums that are behind. Remember, in week 3, week 5, week 8, finish with that. The last forum will be after the micro teaching. But by that time, I will have the portfolios finished, hopefully, so it will be easier for me to catch up in corrections. Okay, so I think this is the most important things I need to remind you of. If you have any other questions and answers. Are we clear on what we're doing? Girls?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So finish your activity plan, okay? That is, focus on that. You will have the PPT, all the videos, the readings, and focus on that, please. So you finish and I give you feedback this week. Next week, we will finish rounding up. So do we have another group presenting? An activity, we will be rounding up the activity for the winter game. Remember, we need to, because your activities are very complete, so we need to probably select the section and establish the rules. Yes? So just giving you an example, Vanessa and Catalina had like 2 videos with colors. So we need to decide on one, yes, as the input. How are they going to practice that input? And then what they are going to do. Yes, so probably it's just the presentation of the little drawings that change colors. We repeat the colors, and then they bring something or 2 things with that color to other points. For example, if that is one of the activities we decide, so we will finalize that next Monday with the rules. Yes, the instructions. Remember, it's important to give instructions both in Spanish and English. And that will be our work for next week. And I think we will be ready, but plus checking this activity planning. And then it's all your time to finish Bitácora, Bitácoras and forum participations. And preparing your micro teaching once the activity planning is finished. Okay, do we agree?
Yes.
Okay, girls, nice to see you. So you have hard work. Please contact me in case you need any help. Yes, contact me in case you need any help, and have a great week. And
Teacher, I have a question.
yes, Vanessa, or who is speaking?
Me, Phoebe, with winter game, the activity we will do that day will be the activity plan.
Could be,
Or-
it could be. Remember, it's only probably a snapshot. It's only one section of that whole activity. Yes, very much indeed. Yeah. Or if you want to do any other that you have been doing before, it's up to you. You're free. So prepare that, Phoebe. Yes, you will start. The beginning will be yours. Phoebe and Javiera. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, girls. See you. See you next Monday.
Teacher, see you.
Mama,
Bye.
Have a good day.
bye.
Bye.
Questions? No? Okay. See you.